Just position myself in here. Sorry, I had a little bit of a problem getting on here tonight. I don't know if I want to try to see how to do this light for the best effect here. And let's see here. Just a second. All right. Hey, I had a problem getting on. Let me see if I want this light on over here. I don't think I do. That's horrible. Oh, hi, Glory. Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you. I had a little problem getting on tonight. I was here ready trying to get on, but my computer, I hope to God it don't start doing like what it did last time. What do you call that? Buffering. I hope it don't do that this time. But it kicked me off and I was trying to go live, so I'm a little late. I had to do everything again. Yes. I'm excited about being here. And I wanted to share some stuff because it's like this stuff just seems so important to me and I want to talk about it. So I think it's a good reason for me to get on here and, share. So can you hear me okay? And can you see me okay? Yeah. So last time I talked about going to the library and that you can get a lot of things at the library and you don't have to buy them. You can get them, check them out, and then see how you like the stuff. And then if you find something that you want to get, then you can get it. Well, I'm trying to see if I can sit here a little better. So that's what I did. I went and I got some things. Oh, you can? Okay, good. You can hear and see me. Okay, wonderful. And I got one book here that I wanted to talk about. And this book is so good that I'm going to buy it. It's called The Regenerative Grower's Guide to Garden Amendments. And it's talking about all the stuff that I've been talking about. And even more. It gets a little bit scientific in some places, but you don't have to read every chapter because, I'm kind of skipping around to the things that I think that apply to me, right away. But then I want to read, really get it all because it's saying a lot of good stuff. And then Best Bible Facts. Hey, hello. Sorry I'm late. Had a little problem getting on. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy this book. And it's called The Regenerative Grower's Guide to Garden Amendments. It says using locally sourced materials to make minerals and biological extracts and ferments. It's got recipes in here of stuff that you can make to put in your garden to feed your soil. It's just wonderful. I'm so glad I got it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is talking about all the stuff that I wanted to know about and wanted to be starting to do. And so let me put my glasses on because I got them right here. Yes. I'm glad y'all joined me. Last time was a bad time. It was a bad day to be on live, but I went by what, YouTube says is a certain time that is a good time to go on at that day, but it wasn't. So this time I'm kind of going earlier on a different day and I'm kind of testing it out to see, where I fit in at to go live. Okay, so now one of the things in here, I'm going to read just a little bit. I'm not going to bore you to death. And you guys jump in if you want to say something. I can't see with these glasses, y'all. Athea, McDougal. Hello, Queen Cynthia. Oh, yeah, Queen Cynthia. Right. Thank you for the compliment. Um, yeah, and so this is it. Now I hope you can get a screenshot of it, and it's written by Nigel Palmer, and he is him, and his wife is a nutritionist. And I mean, this man is covering all the stuff. He's telling you how to mix this stuff up. He's got pictures and stuff in here of. Let me find some of these. He's talking about weeds. He's talking about everything that I was talking about. He's talking about the weed fertilizer. He's talking about the whole thing. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I'm trying to get to he don't have a lot of pictures in here, but see, this is some of the stuff, like, he's showing how to mix stuff up to put in your garden, to put in your soil. He's talking about soil life, adding it to having good nutrition in your soil. I mean, it's excellent. This is excellent. He's talking about, I'm just going to give you some of the stuff in the back. That's some of the areas. Leaf mold fermentation. Then he goes into leaf mold biology. I mean, if you don't want to know about the biology, you don't have to know about it. But he goes into the different things to use, and he goes step by step. He's got it laid out in steps. Fermented plant juice. Look at that. Fermented plant juice. Now, that ain't nothing but my weed. I don't know if y'all can see it, but that ain't nothing but my weed fertilizer. That's all that is. And he talked about the nettles. I heard people talking about nettles before, but I didn't know what they look like. But then when he had a picture of it in here, I was like, oh, I got them in my yard. So I'm going to be putting them in there with my, I'm going to put in my dandelions, my kitchen scraps, the nettle, and my clover. I'm going to be adding that stuff already on my property. And that's what he's talking about. Super juice. Yeah, I call it weed fertilizer, but yeah, yes. And he's talking about the fermented, and he talks about all these types of things that you can add in water extractions. And it's just wonderful. It's everything that this man is mentioning. So I have been going through and just really, he's talking about seeds. And it's amazing some of the stuff that he's talking about. I mean, you hear people talking about different things, but you don't know where they got it from. In the back, he has the bibliography. I think I'm saying that right, y'all. I can't pronounce that word. But it shows the reference for all these people's names that he got this stuff from. And if they wrote a book, he got the name of the book in there. So you can, if you want to go further into that specific thing, then you can, go off into that book if you wanted to. Yeah, but over here it says he put down something about seeds. I thought this was real interesting. Before focusing on how to optimize plant performance in various stages of growth, it's important to consider the impact of seed quality on growth. The New Garden model recognizes that all seeds are not the same. Some batches of seeds are of better quality than others. Some are open pollinated types that will reproduce true to type, and some are hybrids. Some are genetically modified. A most important recognition is that selecting and saving good seeds is important when the goal is to grow high quality food. Next year's seeds may be improved if the parent plant has grown in the right mineral and biological soil conditions. And then he put a quote in here from George Washington. I thought this was interesting. George Washington stated, Bad seed is a robbery of the worst kind for your pocketbook. Not only suffers by it, but prepared, prepared, your preparations are lost, and a season passes away unimproved. And I thought that was just interesting because I know George Washington was a gardener. And but you see how important he said the seed is. And also he talked about how if your plant is so strong, and we hear different things, but the way he put it, it really sunk in. If your plant is strong, how it can resist. It has natural things in it that can resist insects and diseases and things coming at it. Even if they come at it, that they can resist it. And so I just was like, wow, just reading how he's hooking this up to science. And I loved it. Let's see. B Harp, hello from Texas. Hello, Texas. Welcome to the chat. We're just in here talking about soil amendments. And this is something that really has me going because I have a container garden, 131 containers, and I want to put life into my containers. So I'm trying to reference things that are going to give me that. And this here excellent book here is wonderful. I'm going to be buying this book. Got it at the library. On the back of it, it says it was $24.95, and I don't know how long ago that was, but it may be higher now. But I just thought, wow, this is just wonderful stuff in this book. And then his wife, she wrote something in here about she's a nutritionist. I'm not going to bore you and read the whole book, but I'm going to point this out. Said, when did food get so complicated? People once ate primarily foods available in season, and they preserved the excess for the cold season when fresh produce would not be available. With the exception of those lovely imported foods like coffee, tea, cocoa, and salt, we were dependent on our gardens and the growers around us to provide most of our food. As a result of effective marketing, we learned to feel liberated when we didn't need to spend so much time in the garden or kitchen preserving food, but instead were lured into purchasing chemically constructed food-like products in eye-catching packages for the sake of convenience. These foods bear a price beyond what is paid at the cash register, though. A list of unrecognizable chemicals with unknown long-term effect on health. Now, that's a mouthful right there. That is exactly why we need to be growing our own food, and not only just growing our own food, but growing food with life in it. So I'm stressing this because it's so important. And so I'm going to buy this book. I love it. And I'm going to finish reading it. Now I got I got some other ones. This one here is called the No-Till Pesticide-Free Method, Intensive for Restoring Vegetables and Growing Nutrient-Rich Culture, High-Yielding Crops. So that was why I got the book. I just went online, put a hold on the books, and then just went and picked them up at the library. Yes. Y'all, I don't know what is going on. I got to take these glasses off. Yes, good, healthy plants have built-in resistance. They sometimes develop a coating on their leaves. Nature is amazing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm pointing out this stuff from somebody else, because a person like me or anybody else can get on here and say something to you. But you be wondering, I don't know if that's true or not, or you don't know if you believe it or whatever. But this here is backed up with researchers, scientists, people have done stuff that's saying this stuff, and it's just good for me for the reinforcement and to put the emphasis on how important it is to have life in your soil. It's going to affect your food. It's going to affect when you save seeds, it's going to affect those seeds because it's already saying the stuff is going into the seeds that's going to make these seeds, when you plant them again, you're going to have better plants because of the parent plant. And we knew that, but I mean, just to see the science, I'm kind of science. I like science stuff. So just to hear the science of it was just wonderful to me. And so I like that. And then this here book, like I said, this the no-till. I'm not interested in it, but I think books, even though they're talking about in the ground, or they might be, in a raised bed, and I have containers, smaller ones, that doesn't matter. Certain things apply across the board. Good soil is good soil. Taking care of your seeds, getting good seeds, good plants, all that still applies. So that's why I like to read, because let me tell you something. If the crisis is coming, that they say is coming for food, I do prep some, not crazy prepper, but I do prep. Anybody here prep? So I do. And I do save what I grow and I eat what I grow. Okay. And so if things happen the way they say they're going to happen, you realize how important our food is going to be. Not just that you're growing food, but that you're growing nutritious food, because otherwise your body will be starving because you'll have dead food. Okay. Okay. Anthea. Okay. Yeah. So, that's what's so important to me, to get this across so people can be in a position. So if something happens, that oh, yeah, we're going to survive because we got this nutrition is in this food. It's in this food. So that's the whole thing, that you want to have it in there. So I love that. And I'm trying to, get to that point. And, one of the things that I'm thinking of doing, like I'm thinking of all these things I want to do, and it's going to take me some time to do it. I'm going to get the worms going. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to have the compost, and much more than I've been doing before. I'm going to have the compost, and then I'm going to continue with my weed fertilizer, and I'm going to put those dandelions in there, because those dandelions, man, oh man. This book even talked about dandelions, how those tap roots go down, 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 and how good dandelions are for stuff. So that's why I talk about my dandelions all the time, because I hadn't heard anybody else. Maybe they were talking about it before. I don't know. But I just kind of stumbled on the dandelions because I said, shoot, I got all these dandelions in this yard. And let me check on this. Bee Harp, yes. And they make excellent coffee. Yeah, I saw that. Yes, I have to try that. And Chloe says, Cynthia, do you grow your dandelions? If so, what variety? No, they just wild in my yard. They love my yard. Man, them things got some big old, thick old, I guess you'll call it the stem. And I don't go down all the way in the ground and get out the root. No, I need a root in there because I want it to grow back. And that's exactly what they do. I get that plant, get that off of there. I got a video on it. And I get that off of there, and I just go around. Like if I was picking an apple off a tree, go around my yard and get them. And put them in there. And with my kitchen scraps, now I'm going to be adding my clover. Now I'm going to be adding nettles. Just found out about that. When I heard people talking about nettles, but what I didn't know was what it looked like. I got that in my yard. So I'm like, I'm going to be adding that in there. And I'm going to continue with the cow manure. Cow manure and bone meal. Those are two things that right from the beginning of me gardening, I've always used those. I'm going to continue to use those. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. So I'm going to continue to use those things. And any other questions that you want to ask me? Because I'm kind of I'm hoping that y'all interested in this subject that I'm talking about, because I'm so interested in it. I'm so interested in this. This is so important. And even if you don't get a book from the library, but I think getting a book from the library, because I'm going to tell you something. Amazon has Nigel Palmer's book for $22.99. Oh, okay. Okay, that's the first book I showed y'all. Yeah, I'm going to be getting it when I get off of here. I'm going on Amazon and I'm getting this book. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm getting this book. I may get some of these other ones, but that's the first one I'm going to get because I couldn't put the book down. I'm very interested. I'm going to check out the first book. Okay. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all when you get into that book. I mean, wow. Because I'm just thinking to myself, wow, here's somebody, because I'm going to tell you what it says about him. Because he is a gardener. See, he's a gardener. And he did this because he is a gardener. See, here, this is his picture. I don't know if you can see him too good. But it says, Nigel Palmer is a lifelong gardener who relies on the amazing complexity of nature to inspire his gardening philosophy. He is an aerospace engineer by trade, sorting, organizing, and resolving complex technical issues. Nigel is the instructor for the garden portion of the year-long holistic health education program at the Institute of Sustainable Nutrition. So you see, this man is focused on nutrition, gardening and nutrition. And that's exactly what where I was going with all my information. So this is excellent for me. And this is a gardener. This man is aerospace engineer, but he loves gardening. And he done wrote this book and he just went into all kind of good stuff in here. I just love it. Love that book. I'm going to get it as soon as I get off of here. Because I didn't know if it was going to be a lot more. Thank you for sharing that price, because I didn't know if that book was going to be a lot more. And I thought, I wonder if it's going to be double price or something, because they're going up on everything. On the library site right now, looking for the book. Please repeat the name of the book. Okay. The Regenerative. I'm going to put it up there in a minute too for you. Grower's Guide to Garden Amendments. And one thing, and this is not the title, but that was the title. It says, using locally sourced materials to make minerals and biological extracts and ferments. He giving you the recipe step by step, how to make this stuff to put in your garden. I love it. And if you can see this picture down here, let me see. See some of that stuff? That's the nettles over there by my finger. I didn't know what that was. I had him in my garden. But see the jar of the stuff made, and then see the name? I'm putting that up there for you for a minute so you get that name, okay? Hopefully you got that. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'll be trying to read the book and falling asleep reading the book, but I'm still trying to read the book. And I'm just like, oh, wow. Yeah, because I'm into this kind of stuff. I'm excited about it. And just the idea that I can take my container. I don't have to depend. If you want to buy the soil from the store, fine. But put your stuff into that stuff. Put that life in there. So, I just love what this book is saying, because all these recipes and stuff, because even if you buy that bag stuff, you can, the peat moss get banned because we talked about it in my other one. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we talked about the peat moss being banned. So even if they get banned, it's not the end of the world, because now we'll have the tools. We will have the tools to go ahead and put the life in our containers. And not only, I'm not talking about just grow bags and all that. A raised bed is a container. And also, I'm gathering all this information because I'm thinking, if things get rough, I may have to go into the ground. I got a little over an acre. I may have to start doing some stuff in the ground. So the more I know, the more I'm equipped, the more I'm ready if I have to make that move, because I may have to be growing food for my family, friends or whatever, to help people from starving. Now, if you can believe that or if you don't believe that, but all I can say, the writing's on the wall, whether you choose to believe it or not. But so that's why I'm doing this, because I don't want people just growing stuff just to grow it for the sake of growing it. I want you to grow it, and I want it to be nutritious. I want you to be equipped with these tools that I'm sharing. These books are important. This stuff, the way it is like this, you can do that all you want to, but you're not going to get it like this book is giving it to you. It may be in there, here and there, all over the place, but this book, you got one place you can go and get all of this stuff laid out and showing you where he got this information from, listing in the back of the book the name of the people he got it from, if they wrote a book, the name of their book. So if you want to go, say, for instance, if they talk about fermenting, if or whatever, you can go. You want to see who he referenced on that, you can look in there, find that person wrote a book. Okay, I want to get their book. So it just goes on and on if you want to go into it that deep. Well, I want to go into it deep because I find it fascinating. And I also think that it's going to make me healthier. We talked about last time in my last live about the people, the Okinawan people. I think, I don't remember who shared that, about the Okinawan people who live 100. They live 100 plus years, live in the same community, eat all their own food. They're in a village, and these people live a long, long time. And so there are cultures and there are people that are doing things that we don't know about. So when you're reading in a book, you can find out stuff. Remember, I don't know if anybody remember last time I said, I want to look and see about that Korean farming. I'm going to check into that. I heard somebody talking about that one time. I'm going to check in that. In the back of this book, he is talking about that. He's got that in here. It's called Korean natural farming. He talks about it in this glossary. It's just a glossary. But it was just like, here it is, Korean natural farming. And I mean, it just gives you a glossary of things, but this is something that you can go further into if you want to. And it says, an indigenous regenerative form of farming that utilizes local resources, minerals, biology, soil structure to facilitate the local ecosystem, producing sustainable agricultural products. And so I want us to be equipped. I want us to be equipped, because when they start, and they already doing it, because I talked about the bag of soil that I bought in 2023 and how lousy it was. And it really, it is bothering my stuff. I'm in here doing my seedlings, and I use that soil. I said, I bought that lousy soil, and then I said, ooh, this ain't nothing but wood chips, blah, blah, blah. And then I put, when it got some good stuff and put in there with it, and then I'm still waiting for stuff to germinate. So I'm like, this should have been germinated by now. So I don't know. Some of my seeds were old. So, but once they could have been old too. I just bought some seeds and I got like 5 things that came up in there. 5 things that came up out of me sprinkling the seeds. And so I'm just like, I should have never used that soil. I should not have used that soil that I used. And that's why I want people to be aware of what they may put out here for us and how it's going to affect us. Where it used to be, you could get something and mix your stuff up and do what you do, and you have good results with germination and everything else. But now you got to be so careful because who knows? What was that? And now it's affecting stuff. So for me, yeah, this is important. And I'm seeing how it's affecting what I've already done. So now I'm trying to think, okay, I'm going to go out and get some more soil. But you don't know till you open the bag up. You don't know what's in that bag. So this is the problem. This is the problem. I think they already given us the junk. I have that Jordan overseas gardening book, but I prefer books on the same subject written for local gardens. Okay. I can understand that. Because see, this is the thing about it. Everything may not apply. This is the way I feel. Everything I'm reading in this book may not apply to me, may not be something that I want to do, but I'm educating myself. So it's like I can pick and choose, what's going to work for me, what wouldn't work for me, because I'm in a container, first of all. So mostly what these people are talking about, they're talking about in the ground. So, you have to be able to evaluate the information and then see what applies to you. But I know mixing up them concoctions and all that stuff and it doesn't matter if you're putting that in ground or a container. That's some good stuff there. Planter Garden TV. I make my own compost. Excellent. That's something that we've been talking about. It's compost and making a lot of it. I'm going to be making a lot more. I can't wait to be able to get out there in the spring. I'm in upstate New York, zone 6A and B, so I can't do a lot out there. But what I can do while I'm in here is I'm arming myself with these tools. These books. This one here has a lot of writing. I haven't really gotten into this one yet because I'm so busy in the other book. But this one here, The Healthy Vegetable Garden, a natural chemical-free approach to soil biodiversity and managing pests and diseases, Sally Morgan. Now, these books that I'm telling you about, when you talk about local garden, this is local gardening stuff. This is for gardens here. That's what these are. Yeah. Now this here book, I looked at it and I thought, oh yeah, it's got a lot of good pictures and it's talking about a lot of stuff, and it seemed like it's real good because it's dealing with pests, it's dealing with just everything, showing gardens, if you can see that garden, I don't know. Yeah. It's showing different gardens and stuff like that. This is local. Local gardening is like we be doing, like our kind of gardens. And just everything, perennials, weeds, pests, whatever you got going on. So this is another good one. I thought, okay, I like that one. But then this one right here that I'm going to show you now is another one. I don't know how much it costs now. I'm going to look on here and see if they got that on the back. This is one that I'm thinking I'm going to get. I'm going to wait till I get the other one and read that. But this is called the Homesteading Handbook, a back-to-basics guide to growing your own food, canning, keeping chickens, generating your own energy, crafting, herbal medicine, and more. This book goes from A to Z. And that's this one right here that I got at the library. Try to see if I can get the name in there. And this book was written by Abigail R. Gershring. And I mean, she got tons and tons of pictures in here. But what I like is she done went in depth. If you're a canner, which I am, I mean, she done went in depth on the canning thing in here. I mean, even got the canners. I can't see what you can see, but I hope you can see that. She got different on the canner. Then she goes into recipes. Look at all this. I mean, she go into let me see what else I saw. I was just like, man, okay, this is another good book here because it's going from A to Z. She got pest and disease management. Then she goes back into, and then she had some showing you how chicken coops and different things, showing you different designs of stuff. And there was a couple of things in there that had some plans. And then there's just this big section, which I like this edible wild plants and mushrooms. And what I like about it is it shows you all the pictures of the stuff. So you can get a chance. And I mean, there's pages and pages of it. And so you can get a chance to go through here and look and see all this stuff and know. Because a lot of times I think about stuff that may be in my garden and I don't even know, that it's there or that it's something good. I don't even know what it is. Then she goes to the backyard farm. See the chicken? And goes into all that. So if you want to have chickens and all that, the more you know, the better you will do. That's right. You in. Hello. Welcome to the chat. That's right. The more you know, showing all them eggs that you're gathering from your chickens and ducks, So this one is another good book. Look at this right here. These are things that I'm telling you, we may want to be getting into. We may want to be getting into these things. Beekeeping. Got all the stuff in here. Got a whole section on beekeeping. Look at here. Whole section on it. See, if you want to do these things, you got to educate yourself first before you go doing it so you can know what you're doing and be successful. I found some dated smelts and other fish products in my freezer. Hopefully I can convert these products into fish fertilizer. Otherwise, I'm going to put it in my food recycler. Yes, I want to get some chicks. Okay, good. Well, here's a book for you. Get you some kind of book. This one here, the Homesteading Handbook, a back to basics guides. Yeah, they covering everything. And Chloe, that first book that I showed you, let me see what you was talking about. You was talking about the fish. They got a recipe in here for fish fertilizer. It's in here. I remember looking at it. I probably can't find it right now, but in the back of the book when I told you that they had different recipes with step by step, that's in here. That's in this book. Yes, absolutely. So I'm sure you will be able to take that fish and use it. Use it, absolutely. And that's what I was thinking about too, is we can go fishing. And even if it's a kind of fish that you don't want, maybe some fish, they're not good fish to eat or whatever, but they're good fish to use in your garden. and books like this that show you how to take that and use that to make something that you can pour, like you buying fish emulsion. This thing is showing you how that you can do it. Now, I didn't read it step by step, but I saw that it was in there, and I saw all the different steps of the stuff that is showing in the back of the book. And I was thinking, oh, this is wonderful. You know, me and my sister talking about going fishing, and we got some fish that we don't want. Then we can take this fish and we can keep them anyway and go ahead and use that stuff in the garden. So, okay, Athea, oh, I need that. I'm a new beekeeper. Oh, and I have chickens. Oh, absolutely. That's the one for you. See, this is where I want to be going in the future. That's why I'm arming myself with information. Yeah. This book is covering it all. It's talking about Back to Basics Guide to Growing Your Own Food, canning, keeping chickens, generating your own energy. It's even got windmills in there if you want to get into that. Crafting, it got it in there, how to knit, showing you how to knit. Herbal medicine, now that's something that I'm into right now. So the herbal medicine section and more. So all this stuff is in this book. So that's why I'm telling you, you can go and you can do this and you can get quick this or that. But when you get a book, you get all this stuff in here in one place. So whether you buy this book or another book, but I'm just saying it's wonderful to get this good information and be able to use it so we can have it all up here when the time comes, so we can be able to be feeding our family and our friends and taking care of business. Yeah, windmills. Yes. I'm in Indy. They use cow dung for heating and cooking. Yeah, I know. I've heard of that. Cow dung. Yes. Yes. That's been done for a long time. Yeah. And see, that's something, if people got cows and stuff, that stuff going to be valuable. Anybody who have these kind of animals, if we get to where the stuff hit the fan and it's a crisis, people who have that stuff, they're going to be able to be selling stuff for people to heat their houses and everything else, because our life will be different. Our life will be different. So, that's what I'm looking at. I'm just arming myself and I'm doing what I can now, because I feel like you can't do everything. But what you can do is take some steps. Take some steps, improve on certain areas, improve on little by little until you get there, because I have goals of what I want to do in my garden. I want livestock and different things, but I have to get there. So the main thing, the basic thing to me right now is food, making sure that I am sustainable and that my family, when people, if they're hungry or whatever, that we have nutritious food and not just growing something pretty, and then it might be too late by the time things get bad that you can you can't get these products. You can't do this anymore. So, hey, learn how to use what's on your land. That's what I want. Learn how to use what's on my land. If the store shut down and you couldn't go to a store and get anything, you look on your land and see the stuff and know what to use and how to use it. These books can help you with that. So I think that stuff to me is absolutely important. And when you're talking about heating with the dung, that's one of the things that I heard today over in Europe, they're doing, not the dung, but the peat moss. People have been using that to heat with. And that was one of the reasons why the peatlands are doing so bad over there, because of that. And because they said burning and overgrazing. And so that's something that people have been using for that. And, it's a lot of things that the people in charge of stuff decide they want to push because the money. That's the way they want to go. So they push us all to go that way. But look outside the box. Look outside the box. See what other ways you can go and things that you can do that you can survive and be sustainable. That's the whole thing, being sustainable. Because if you're not sustainable, you can forget it. You can forget it if it gets rough. If it gets rough, you can forget it. And I think one of the things that is good to talk to people in other countries, because when we talk to people in other countries, we can find out what's going on over there. Because when you only see stuff on the news or whatever, I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but you're getting a certain picture. But when you talk to people that live somewhere and they can tell you, like there was a lady in here and she asked me, I was saying about my weather. She was saying she's over on the UK. She was saying about her weather over there is kind of the same thing going on. Well, see, that's knowledge. That's knowledge. That's telling me this stuff is going on. And that backs up what I may have heard on the news or read somewhere or whatever. But I'm getting a picture from somebody who actually lives there that can tell me this is what's going on over here. I like that. You know, the world is not that big that we can't communicate with one another. I hope we continue to communicate with one another. That's what I love about YouTube is being able to communicate with all kind of people everywhere. That's wonderful. I saw many videos where they are raising insects like crickets, black soldier, flies, and mealyworms for food. People have been eating bugs for years. In a lot of places, it's been like gourmet, chocolate covered, whatever. I forgot what it was, but I can remember years ago people eating that and paying a lot of money for it. So when push comes to shove, protein. And you can grow vegetables that have more protein in it. So you have to find out which vegetables are these. So I'm growing these kind of vegetables. So if I can't buy meat, I can grow this, I can grow that, but I can still get, you know, this in my nutrition that I need, that my body needs. Lynette Gaskin, hey, she said, hey, Miss Cynthia, how are you? I have been working on my containers to prepare for transplanting, and I am frustrated with cats. Oh no, invading my garden tubs and buckets as a litter box. I feel you on that one. Because I had an awful cat problem with a cat pooping right by my front door. That cat is just determined that right there in my flower bed is going to be his litter box. Boy, I'm telling you, I tried everything. They said put little twigs in there. You stick the sticks up. You might be able to do that in your containers. Put the little sticks and stuff in there. They can't get in there. The cat stopped pooping in there. But it looked so ugly. I didn't want that. Then I tried that. I also, let me see, what was the last thing I did? I put down chicken wire. So I put down the chicken wire on the soil, and then I put the wood chips on top of it because I didn't want the chicken wire. I want my garden to be pretty in the front. And that worked. That worked. So that cat, I don't know what's wrong with that cat, but that cat went and found a little corner where I had the chicken wire was kind of sticking up when I took it all the way to the edge. And it was one area that I stapled them down with those staples things. But when I got over there was some kind of rock or something there because the staple wouldn't go in. So that cat was trying to move that and went over there in that corner and pooped. So I took big old rocks and put them over there so it couldn't poop. And that's what stopped it. But that cat It sits on my front stoop. Big old cat. In Chicago, we call those alley cats. But it ain't no alley cat. It's somebody's cat. Because that cat is well taken care of. And I'm scared of that cat because I'm going to tell you, I tried to shoo that cat away. Get out of there. Go, go. That cat wouldn't move. Just looked at me. And I was like, oh, this cat's dangerous. Because if I go over here and try to make this cat move, it's going to attack me. So, y'all might not like this, but I'm going to tell you. Right there where that cat want to put his butt up on my front stoop and won't leave, I have little rat traps that I put in my pots to deter, because if something want to go up to my fruit tree, it's got to get on the pot and get in there to get up to the fruit tree, because it can't jump in there because I don't have it anywhere where they can jump in there. So it deters them. They won't get in the pot. I took one of them traps and I just set it up there. I knew the cat wasn't going to go get into it. I wasn't trying to hurt it, but I put it there because now this is here. You don't have anywhere to sit right here. You want to sit right there. I mean, if somebody come to my front door, the man came to my house. I don't remember what he came there for, but he said, oh, your cat is out there on the front. I said, that's not my cat. That cat was sitting there like my house is its house and won't move. I don't understand that. I don't understand it, but I tell you, I'll be aware of that cat. I'm being aware of that cat, Lynette. I'm not a cat lover, but I do whatever I can to keep those little buggers out. Yeah. And what I do, and it works for cats, squirrel, deer. Them the only ones I can think of right now that I know of that come and try to get in my container is tulle, Tulle, the bridal fabric. And I cover my containers. They covered out there right now. I can't get out there and garden, but they are covered because that squirrel will get into them containers and dig, throwing all my fresh new dirt out on the ground. I don't know what it's digging for. Last year, I had all my pots and containers, got everything all ready. Oh, I'm ready for spring come. I done fertilized everything, nice, fluffy little dirt in my containers. And he went from container to container to container. I did a video on it. I called it a demon squirrel. I did a video on it. And then I became serious about catching them. I catch them in those have-a-heart traps, and I got to take them 20 miles away because different people told me that have had the problem. They said if you don't take it far enough away, they will find their way back. And I believe it because they're smart. They are very smart. A lot of people may not know that. They are smart. And guess how long one of them live? 15 years. 15 years a squirrel will live. And I've seen some people showing squirrels in their yard and they fat and healthy. So they probably might live a little longer. Mine are skinny. They hang around my garden because they see, ooh, these fruit trees, these vegetables. We want to get this stuff. So it's going to be a constant battle. And it's not just going to be a constant battle for me. It's going to be a battle for you guys too. For any kind of pest that's going to come to your garden. We have to protect our gardens because, see, back in the time when there was other places for these animals and stuff for them to eat, but stuff is gone now. Stuff is gone. And so now they're trying to still eat. And so when you have a garden, they zooming right in on that. So them squirrels, they make their home. And they don't plan on going anywhere. But I keep getting rid of them. I even had one, I kind of felt sorry for it. I took one squirrel, it got in there, and I took that one away. Then there was another little one. It was a little one, so I figured that must have been the baby of the mother, because the baby I didn't even put any peanuts in there yet. I had just took the squirrel away. I hadn't even had a chance to put any more nuts in there. That squirrel got in there with nothing in there, I believe, looking for its mama, and got trapped. So you know what I did? I took it the same place where I dropped off his mom. I said, maybe y'all get back together. Yep. Let's see what I'm missing here. Okay, Lynette, I'm not a cat lover. Oh, okay. Oh, I read that one. I'm going to try traps. I got to get rid of that joker. Hello. I'm telling you. And when I put my apple tree, it's only a year old that I've had it. Now, it could have been a couple of years old when I bought it. I don't know. But I only had the tree for a year, and it was full of apples. And something was trying to get in there to get my apples. So I put 2 traps in there. First, I had one, and I'd go out there and it would be popped. They wouldn't get the apples when the trap popped. They left it alone. But I put another one on the other side because I said something is persistent about getting in here. So before I could get them, my apples wasn't ready yet. I put that in there to protect them. I also took tulle fabric, and I took the trunk of the tree and just loosely wrapped that tulle around that trunk of that tree. So if it thought it's going to jump on there, it don't want to jump on that. And it worked. It worked. So we have to try to think outside the box and see what we can do, and do it for not a lot of money. You know, I had a friend of mine that I talked to, and my friend, she's not really a gardener, and she was telling me they had an awful squirrel problem, and the squirrels was up in the soffits of their house, and I guess they're making so much noise and doing so much, and it was just like you be in the house. It's just horrible. Always listening to them, and they just up there, you know, all them sounds that they make, whatever they do, and they do talk to each other, and so they were sick of it. And they not gonna mess. They're not the type of people that gonna try to trap it or anything. They call somebody in to get rid of them, and the person, they paid over $1,000 to get rid of them. I mean, they had a lot of them. That's why I say, if you don't get rid of them, if you don't keep getting rid of them, you're gonna have an army. They're gonna keep multiplying. My sister had problems with rabbits, squirrels, moles eating her garden plantings. I told her that they have spread the word. She was the best restaurant in the neighborhood. Absolutely. Your poor sister. Absolutely. You got to make them afraid to come over there when they start seeing their relatives. I'm telling you, I have seen when they see their relatives missing, they like, something ain't right over there. So they don't feel so free to come. I'm not saying they won't come, but they don't feel so, they out there, but they don't feel so free. I see them hopping and going to another yard, walking past this one. And when I'm not out there, yeah, they may try something, but I have stuff covered. I try to do little things with the traps. I try to do stuff, because if you don't, they hungry. Can I make a screen box to keep rodents out? Sure. Good idea. Yep. Do whatever you have to do to keep them out. I have field mice, and that's a problem for me. Let me get a drink over here. I got some tea. I'm getting dry. I have field mice, and that's a problem for me. And I'm trying to figure out what can I do about them, because I let my vining crops grow on the ground, because when I tried to put them up on stuff, they didn't do all that good. But when I let them vine on the ground, they did better. So the field mice are going and eating the blossoms, only the female blossoms. So what they do is they're making it where I'm not even getting as many fruit as I would have gotten because they ate the blossom. So I'm trying to think this year, like, oh, what can you do? What can you do? How can you do this? Because the trap ain't going to work for them, because you got the vine on the ground and they just going over there getting the blossom and eating it. So anything that you can make up or do, it might not be so pretty in the garden, but if it works, do it, because you want to protect your food. We're spending money on seeds, water, our time. We're taking up space in our garden. We're using our time where we could have been doing something else to grow food or vegetables, and fruit. You're not trying to feed them. And like I said in my other live, if they come to your garden and they get food, when they get hungry again, they're coming back there for food. You got to stop them. I had the deer coming in. I didn't see, none of this stuff was coming till I got serious about the vegetable garden. Because years ago, I had a vegetable garden. The woodchucks tunneled underneath. We had electrified fence, everything. They got in anyway. And that devastated me. And I said, no more vegetable garden. This was years ago. I've been gardening over 20 years. And so I started ornamental gardening. So I didn't have no squirrel problem. We had no squirrels. Wasn't no squirrels back here. And a deer didn't come in here. I didn't have this stuff because there wasn't anything for them. But the minute I started with my container garden, getting all this stuff, now I got all of them. They all coming. So last summer, that was the first time I had the problem with the deer. The deer was coming biting out a tomato. I had tomato on the plant with a hole in it. Big old, you could tell it was a deer because it was a big bite out of the tomato, still hanging on the the plant with a big bite out of it. Big old pile of deer poop. Oh, you knew what it was. Took out my onion, even ate an onion. Now, I don't know if that was a deer or the squirrel, but I got a big 100-gallon grow bed, and I had some onions in one spot in there, and took my onion, ate my onion. I was so mad because I didn't have that many onion. I was like, mess with my onion. Oh, man. So what I did, I put that tool on there. I put tool on there. I use clothespins because I can get them at Dollar Tree cheap. And I get the big old bolts of tool and just wrap that around in there like that. And they left my onions alone. But it's work. It's extra work on me that I've got to do to try to keep them from eating my stuff up. But if you're going to garden, that's all a part of it. Because as things have gone away of other food sources for them, they're going to come to us. And I heard some people say, well, I feed the squirrels. I feed whatever animal it is, because maybe they'll leave my stuff alone. No, it ain't going to leave your stuff alone. It's going to eat that, and then it's coming for yours. Deer used to eat my fruit trees and bushes. Oh, okay. You say used to, Chloe. So how did you stop them? I had something, I don't know what it was, but I have a, what do you call it? Lilac bush. And I had another big lilac bush that I had to take down and get rid of it because I wanted to put a garden section over in there. So what I did was I took a little baby seedling off of that and planted it in another spot in the yard so I could still have that lilac bush. Something went out there, and I hadn't known anything that would have messed with a lilac bush. And the wood part of the lilac bush, where the wood part here and the bush come out, I mean, it ate a big old hole in there, almost in half, almost killed because it was a young bush. It was almost going to be destroyed. And I was like, oh my goodness, what did this? So I went out there with that tool, wrapped that tool all around that thing loosely, because you got to make sure the thing can grow. And you got to prepare for high winds so it don't blow off. And I put that on there, that ended that problem. So you got to do what you have to do. Best Bible facts. Do you cover and uncover your 131 containers daily? I don't do all the containers. I just see the stuff that they mess with. Like I noticed last summer, like I told you, was that onion. So that grow bed, I put that tool around in there. I have planted a whole bunch of purple potted pole beans. And I noticed that I got something I call a cattle panel pot garden, if you look at my videos. And I have an archway and a little walk and then containers all in there, whatever. But anyway, they don't really go in there and mess with the beans. But outside in the main garden, I have some cattle panels out there, and I had planted those purple potted beans on there. They were eating the plants. No beans had even come on there yet. They were eating the leaves. So I was just like, okay, you're gonna kill my. I want a lot of beans. So I just took that tool around that cattle panel and just put that around in the places, not to cover but no bees or anything can get in there or anything, but just enough to get it on there where it won't blow off to deter. And I was able to get a bumper crop. But I had to do something. So I don't do all the containers. I do the ones that they mess with. Now, so far, nothing was messing with. I had a whole bunch of different kinds of eggplant. Nothing was messing with that. Let me see, what else did I have that they wasn't messing with? So far, nothing messed with the corn. I was surprised because I thought, I could have a raccoon, anything come in here and mess with this corn. I thought maybe the squirrel would get over there and mess with the corn. But the trap was in the bag. The trap was in the rat trap was in the grow bag. And I got to eat all my corn that I got to save it for me. Nothing messed with it so far, but you don't know what's going to happen the next season. So no, I don't do it I do it on the ones. That's why I say, pay attention to your garden. Be on top of stuff. So you got to be on top of stuff, because when you see a problem, you got to act. Deer do not like to be around activity. I have put up temporary fencing and have a mini Australian Shepherd. All right. That's what my sister told me. You better get a dog. She said, a dog will control that. I said, yeah, but a dog is a lot more work. I love dogs. I just don't feel like I want that work right now. And then I got to get something that could contain the dog in here. So, with an acre, the dog would be pent in a certain area. So something could still get outside that area and get something. Because when I put my fruit trees in the ground, they're going to be, spread around a little bit. So I just didn't see that would help me in my situation. Athea, there's some type of animal urine you can around the garden area to deter them, I think. Coyote urine. Okay. I know one time I bought that Repel. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is it urine or what it is? I think it's supposed to be some kind of urine, but it was like pellets. And I remember one time when I had the woodchuck problem. This was when I had the woodchuck problem. They said, put down red pepper, do a fence, put it so many feet in the ground, electrify the fence, put Irish Spring soap out here, put this repel stuff out. Everything somebody told me to do, not one thing stopped them. Nothing stopped them. So now I'm reluctant to do that kind of stuff. I'm trying the tool or the traps or whatever, because I know I tried these other things and they didn't work. So I don't know, animals are different in different gardens. And plus, if there's other options for an animal somewhere, you may not have that problem. That animal may have somewhere else it can go and eat or whatever. They might think, I don't want to go over there. But around here, these people around me don't garden. They don't even really they like plain old grass. No, not even, I don't see like a lot of flowers. Like the lady next door over there, she started putting in a little flowers. So, but they don't do that. They just like grass. When I bought this house, it was straight up grass. Everything that you see that's a tree or a bush or this or a bed or what, I did all that. So these animals, this is where the food is. And they are persistent. So if you hang up a little bar of soap and that animal is hungry, it might not like that smell, but it might feel like, well, I got to get this food. I just found some of those things didn't work. Now, I don't know about the urine that you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know. I heard some people saying male urine. I saw one person say they urinate around their perimeter, a male. So I don't know if that works or not. I may have to try that. Some male family members. Okay, y'all, put that out there. I don't know if it becomes a serious problem where what I'm doing now is not working. Right now, what I'm doing is working, but it's a lot of work. When it's 98% humidity in a drought, and you got to go out and water your containers, and containers need water, and you got to go out and water, you got to take that tool, you got to cover it up, you got to take it off. But that's what I have to do. Even if I put a fence up there, it's not going to stop them squirrels. And a deer will jump in. But it might be a deterrent of a deer. But like I said, it depends on how persistent that animal is and how hungry it is and whatever it is that you got that it wants. So you can do things and spend money on it. I'm not saying don't do it, but for me, money's tight. So if I'm doing that and spending that money, and by me having the past experience where electrified fence didn't stop them, I'm feeling like I may put a fence up one day. It'll just be something that's a little deterrent, but I'm not sure it's going to stop anything. I'm not sure. Because anybody here have a fence in their garden that's really working for them against, and if it is working for you, what kind of predators do you have coming? Why have a yard full of grass that you can't eat? Use not some of it for a garden. Times are changing. Yeah. I always been the kind of person, and I thought to myself, when we first came to this property, I thought to myself, all this grass, what a waste. Now, some people would have looked at that, oh, look at this beautiful lawn, all right around, cut it, I love it. Some people really love the lawn, and if you do, God bless you, I have nothing against you. I'm just talking about my preference. I thought to myself, this is a waste. And I still think I got too much grass out there. But In the front, I leave that pretty much. Now I leave it. But if it ever come to shove and we need some serious food, that front can turn into garden. So I'm always thinking about that when I'm taking care of my stuff as far as chemicals. Don't be putting chemicals on this and that if you can help it, because one day you never know. This might need to be food, a food place. Yes, deer will jump fences, but not if they don't see or think they can make a clear landing, like into open space. Yeah, yeah, I think I said that one time. Yes, that's true. I heard that. But then I thought about it and I said to myself, okay, if I put a fence, the way my yard is set up, I don't know if I would have a place, all those places where they can jump. Because that's one thing I've had experience with here. I've seen the big buck coming through the yard and almost hit me on the riding mower. And I saw how fast he was going and how much he could leap. Bam, bam. And I'm thinking to myself, he could get in there. He can get in there. So even with something in there, for me, my garden is already designed the way it is. But I guess if you get yours and design it in such a way that you have stuff, maybe that might be a deterrent that works. I heard about it. Yep. I have the worst predators in the world. Oh, UN. The two-legged kind. They tried to steal my cows, horses, and and your what's that? Goats and your goat. Oh, you're not kidding. And it may get worse for all of us as food, if food becomes short or whatever. You got to be able to protect your place. Yeah. You know, what do they call it? People that come trespassers. I had a problem with trespassers coming over here. And I told them to get out of my yard. They were in my yard talking to somebody. I'm like, hey, this is private property. You need to get out of here. They didn't want to go anywhere. So I had to call my sons. I got one son that's a veteran, and my other son, and they bet nobody mess with mama. So you got to protect your land. You got to protect your property. You have to do what you have to do. I'm a big front and side yard garden. That's where the sun is. Okay. Yeah, you got to be where the sun is. And then you, okay, Chloe. Okay. How about just fencing in area around your garden? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing if I have to. If I have to, that's what I'm thinking about doing, Chloe. But that my fruit trees are not going to be in there. Because when I put the fruit trees in the ground, they're going to be further out in the yard. They're not going to be right where my containers are. They're not going to be in there because I don't want them growing up and shading the garden. So I've already been thinking about where would I put them. That's why they still in the, because I don't want to make a mistake. And I've been thinking about along the side where I plant those tomatoes at over there. I'm thinking about maybe one or two over there and trim my magnolia. And the neighbor on the other side said I could trim that tree that they have. And I'm thinking about at least maybe one tree could go over there. And then I'm thinking along the back, along the fence of that old garden, that I'll probably put some trees. But I put trees there in the ground, but then the fenced in area won't cover that. That'll be out there. So the fenced in area would only cover the container part of the garden. But as I expand get those trees in the ground and stuff. It will, it will help somewhat, I think. Okay, best Bible facts. Have you ever grown a lemon tree? No, I never grown a lemon tree. I'm in upstate New York, zone 6A and B. And I guess one of the things I said to myself is this: I'm going to grow what grows here. If I got to take something in and out of the house, I'm not going to try to grow it. I'm not going to try to grow it. Now, maybe if it got down to the fact it was a food crisis and maybe I need that vitamin C, that might change my mind of trying to grow something like that. But right now, I try to focus on the things, because I see people all the time that grow, and there's nothing wrong with it if you want to do the work or you want to keep on trying, but they're trying to grow things that just can't grow where they're at. And they continually buying things and they dying or whatever. And it's a lot of work and they got to baby them. I don't want to, I got a container garden. That's enough babying for me. And if I got to baby a tree, I don't want to baby it. And that's the same thing with my roses, because I love my roses. I love roses. But I've decided that I have to try to let them go, because as the weather changes, it's climate stuff, and they like a lot of water, and we having droughts and all that. I've decided I'm not going to baby them. They'll either make it or they won't. So I replaced one rose that died last year. But I had bought 2 other roses and put them in a spot somewhere else, and they died, and I didn't replace them because I'm not going to baby them. Some of the other different kind of rose bushes might make it, though, the floribundas or the grandifloras, but I had bought tea roses, which are my favorite. Let's see, best Bible facts. Oh, she said that makes sense. And have you ever grown a watermelon? Oh, yeah. Love to grow myself some watermelon. I'm like the watermelon queen. I love decorating with watermelon. I have another channel, Decorating Cynthia's Way. And I do a decorating theme sometimes that's just nothing but watermelon stuff, because I love watermelon. I love to decorate with it. I love to grow watermelon. I love to eat watermelon. Yes, I love it. It's a challenge. It's something I love to do. And I just love growing them. And last year I grew a musk mill, and I grew that for the first time. And well, not the first time. The first time recently, years ago, I had grown them. And ooh, boy, was that thing good. When it ripened, you could smell that thing. I knew that thing was ripe, because if I get anywhere near it, I could smell it was ready. And it was so good and juicy, delicious. So you better believe I'll be growing that again too. Would you do a beginner lesson on growing watermelon? The growing watermelon? A beginner lesson. I'm going to think about it. I will. And I grow them in grow bags. I've grown them in 5-gallon bucket. When I first set up my cattle panel, I grew the sugar babies in a 5-gallon bucket. I've grown the regular watermelon in grow bags. Yeah, I'll think about that. I'll let you know. Let's see. Do you have them in containers? Absolutely. Absolutely. I grow melons in containers. I grow corn in containers. I've said in the past things that I've said. I'm not the kind of person that they say, oh, this is suitable for that, for a container. That's suitable for a container. I'm not that person. I think that's a good guideline, and you can grow that thing that they saying. But I push the limit. I take an indeterminate tomato and put it in a 5-gallon bucket. And if you look at my video from last year, I call it Tomato Row. It's all 5-gallon buckets, and those are indeterminate tomatoes. And I got tons of tomatoes. Look at the harvest. Now, one thing you have to realize is when you put something like that in that container, that's a smaller area. It's going to need a lot of attention. So if you're not ready to do that, don't do it, because it won't be successful for you. So, but I realize that, and I like the challenge, and I do it. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that I haven't. I got trees in containers, so I can't think of anything that I haven't done in a container. And sometimes you can put something, you can kind of push the limit a little bit, like with those tomato plants. But now my watermelon, I only put a certain variety in the 5-gallon bucket, the sugar baby. But now when I did the crimson sweet and I did the rattlesnake watermelon, I put them in the biggest container I had. Even though I let them vine on the ground, I put them in, and I did companion planting. They wasn't in that container by themselves either. So I do that. I push the limit on that. I don't believe one thing got to be in there. I believe one thing can work with another thing. And I put it in there and see what does it do. It did very well. So I love doing that. I love the challenge. And the thing is, I have a container garden. So that's the place that I have to grow in. So if that's the place I have to grow in, if I want to grow it, hey, where else am I going to put it? I'm not going to put it in the ground because I got a back injury and some other things. I can't do that. So, yeah. Oh, okay. UN says, please do a beginner lesson. Okay. Now, when I do the beginning lesson, y'all support me in it now, because a few times I had, not on this channel, but another channel. And somebody asked me to do something and I went ahead and did it. And then it didn't get the support because maybe everybody wasn't interested in that thing. So, but I'll try to do it in such a way that beginners, this will be something they will want to know. And I'll take my time and try to really put it together in a good way. So, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, she said I will. Okay, good, in a heart. Okay. Yeah. So I think that at first I just was kind of doing just general gardening stuff. But then I looked at the fact, because you know what, I had never counted my containers until last year. And then one day I said, I'm gonna count my containers. And then when I counted them, I was like, whoa, when did I do this? Because I didn't have that many to begin with, but I just kept adding. And so I said to myself last year, because I worked real hard, I said to myself, you need to stop. Okay, don't add anymore. You need to get your trees in the ground. I have to talk to myself. You need to get your trees in the ground. You got some other stuff around here that you need to get done. Get that done. Don't worry about adding anything. That's why I say sometimes when I see people, they don't seem to know when to stop. They just keep, it's like collecting. It's easy to do. I understand it. I'm a gardener. I would love to just get all this stuff and put it here. But you got to take care of that stuff. And then I think to myself, at some point, when do you have enough? When is enough enough? So I wanted to grow a certain amount of food, and I think I have enough containers that I can grow the amounts of food that I want to grow. It's about planning. So for me, succession planning. Like this year, I want to grow more collard greens because I've never had enough. I love collard greens. So, and I tell you, the woodchuck do too. That's when I had the big problem, when I had a whole bunch of greens. The woodchuck, the main thing it was going for was them collard greens. So they love it. So I will see how that all works out because I want to grow a lot of them. So I got to time my stuff so that whatever I do in the summer, and I can be able to have those collard greens out there for that fall harvest. Let's see. Uh, Best Bible facts. Awesome. I see it. Me too. Yeah. Yes. More collards. Absolutely. I like peppers anyway. I like to put peppers in my collard greens, but I like peppers. That's one thing. I grow a lot of peppers. You see in my garden, I'm always going to have peppers. I love a lot of peppers and tomatoes. Somebody asked me what's your favorite thing that you like to grow? Peppers and tomatoes. Peppers and tomatoes. Now, other stuff, squashes, watermelon, things like that. I love to grow all of that stuff. But if I had to pick my favorite, if somebody would say, you can't grow anything but two things, those would be the two things I would pick. So if somebody said to you, you can only grow two things, what would be your two things that you would grow? Let me know. Yeah. So let me see. Somebody said something. I'm a beginner garden. This will be my second year. Sometimes it is all gets so overwhelming, but I'm determined to not give up. Good for you. That's the spirit. That is the spirit, because that's what it's all about. You got to be tough to be a gardener, because first of all, it's hard work. Secondly, you're going to have all kind of stuff, the weather, the pests, the this, the that. You may have bad seeds, because I'm having a problem with seeds. And I'm like, hey, I just bought these seeds. Why aren't they germinating? So you're going to have stuff, but you just keep on going. Like my onion seeds, a lot of them, one of them came up, all of them came up. One of them, I got 5 little things in there. So, hey, you know what I did? I put some more seeds in there. I'm not giving up. I'm determined I'm going to get these onions. So let's see. Oh, people are putting in. Okay, UN is watermelon and strawberry. Yep. Best Bible facts. I'm glad I found your channel. Oh, I'm glad you did too. Athea, greens and tomatoes. Oh, yeah. And Chloe, collards and onions. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Those are things I like to eat together too. Collards and have me some onions with it. And then the greens and tomatoes. Mm-hmm. Yes. My grandmother was a vegetable person, and she definitely liked those types of things. And that's why I love to go to her house, because she would cook all that kind of stuff like that. And, I learned a lot from her. So anyway, yeah. Yes. So we all have our favorite things to grow. And the things that you love to grow, are you successful with them? I'm wondering, are they hard? Do you have problems growing them? Or is it something that you find easy to grow? I'm curious about that, because my tomatoes and peppers, I'm good with it. I hope it never change for me, because I can grow a lot of tomatoes and I can grow a lot of peppers, all different varieties. I don't just do one type. Let me see. Broccoli and carrots for Lynette. All right. Yes, those are two good ones. And Wanda, good evening, Cynthia, and everyone in the chat. Good evening and welcome. What are your favorite two things? If somebody told you you could only grow two things in your garden, what would it be? That's what we just got through doing. Everybody been putting it in the chat. Okay. Oh, I missed this one up here. Thea, me too. More collards. And then she said mustards. Mm-hmm. I love turnip and mustard greens together. And that's one thing that my grandmother used to cook that. Let's see what she put down. I have problems with tomatoes. It gets hot here so quick. Okay. Yeah. Because then Yep. I can understand that. I'm blessed that I do pretty good with mine. Even though our weather is changing, we've been having a lot more heat than humidity than we used to. Cucumbers and lettuce. Best Bible. Cucumbers and lettuce. Yes. That's what my sister always be asking me for, cucumbers. You got any cucumbers? Elwanda, broccoli and collards. Oh yeah, I like them too. Um, Now cucumbers, I just seem like that's, if I had to think of something that I have a problem with, that's probably it. Last time I found out about the Space Master. So I put that one in because I said, I keep putting these other kind in. They keep getting a disease and they die. And then I found out about that Space Master and I put that one in. And man, I had a whole bunch of cucumbers. And then I was like, oh, and then something happened. I can't remember what happened. I thought I was going to get more. And then it didn't have, the plant like burst out with all these. And then I was like, I didn't get anything else. And then I didn't save any seeds because I ate them all up. As I did, I tried to go online and try to find some seeds and nobody had them. But you better believe when I first ordered my seeds this season, 2023, guess what seeds I ordered? I got them now. Yeah, because they were good. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss yours. Thea. Yes, ma'am. Collards and mustards make a good pot of greens. Ooh, you're making me hungry now. That's so good. I like it with hot water cornbread. Get me a little green onion, a little piece of tomato, all vegetables. Chloe K, I'm beginning to grow tomatoes, peppers, hydroponically indoors, except when I need them for canning storage. Okay, good for you. That's the way to go. Inside stuff. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I don't do it inside. I find that I be busy with other stuff and I don't do it. But if push comes to shove, I'll be doing whatever I have to do to survive. Corey K, the hardest plant for me is yellow summer squash. And then UN, once I pick a vegetable from the garden, how long does it take for veggies to spoil? It all depends on the vegetable because some vegetables will keep over longer and some won't. I found for me squash, when I bring in squash, they last a long time. As a matter of fact, I still have winter squash in the basement that I'm keeping. And I like it for soups and stuff in the winter. But I couldn't keep up with it. So I still have some down there. Don't worry, it's not going to get spoiled because I go down there and check on it. And one of them is kind of big. So I was thinking, okay, now I want to use this in some soup, but what am I going to do with the extra? So I was thinking, okay, you're going to have to freeze it. But I hate to freeze it because I don't want to change the taste of it or anything. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and freeze the extra. But yeah, squash will keep a long time. Corn will keep if you keep the husk on it. Don't peel it. Don't, put it in the refrigerator, keep the husk on it. That'll keep a little while longer. But it's best to eat it immediately for the best flavor. Tomatoes, if you pick them when they are fully ripe, they're not going to keep that long. If you pick some that are having a little blush on them, they starting to ripen, you can keep those a little bit longer. I found peppers. I had shishito peppers, green peppers, jalapeno, green jalapeno, yellow lemon jalapenos, poblanos. I found all of those peppers because I had a bumper crop of those things. They kept quite a while. I put them in the refrigerator because I was freezing them and I was eating them at the same time. And the ones that I found that didn't go as long was the Blano. They seemed to be the one that I had to hurry up and use real quick. It'll stay in there a little while, but then I had to do something with it because I had so many of them. I was deciding, okay, how am I going to use these? Am I going to chop these up? Am I going to use it whole? Whatever. But I froze them. And some of them, I said, I'm going to make some hot sauce and stuff like that. So peppers, I found that they kept a while, So it depends on the vegetable. What it is. Now, if it's greens or something like that, greens gonna, the best thing to do is use them right away to me. You can put them in the refrigerator maybe a few days or whatever, but they may start turning yellow or whatever. They don't keep that long, for the best result of however you're going to use them, Lynette Gaskin, I got eggplant, tomatoes, peppers started, as well as sugar snap peas. Woo! All right, all right. I love myself some eggplant. I love all that stuff, but that was one thing when I started growing my garden this time, the container garden. I said I want to grow some eggplant and leeks. And then sometimes I go to the store and I see what they charge for stuff. And I looked at the price of leeks and I was like, I'm growing my own. Look at the price. Eggplant, look at the price. Some things are not that expensive, but certain things, they are high in the store here. And like I have three, I think I have three. I can't think of the name of the apple tree now. It'll come to me. But I have three of those. But when you go to the store, those are the most expensive apples here in New York. And we are known for our apples and our corn. That's what this state is known for. Everybody think of New York as New York City area. But I'm in the farm part of New York, upstate New York. There's a whole bunch of New York that is not New York City. It's a whole different kind of New York. So I'm trying to think what you call them apples. I can't think of it right now. I'm drawing a blank. Let's see. Chloe, I like to dehydrate eggplant and squash. Oh yeah, me too. I dehydrated mine for the first time. And I didn't do squash because the kind of squash I grew, I knew that it would keep in the basement, and I wanted to keep it. I didn't need to dehydrate it, but I didn't do zucchini or yellow squash. I didn't do either one of those because I wanted different kind of squash. I wanted winter squash, and I wanted different kind of unusual squashes to grow. I wanted to try some different kinds of squash, so I did different ones, and also I wanted to see what do the bugs like and what don't the bugs like and how did this particular one do and stuff like that. But you plant your squash a little bit later, which my garden always starts later because I don't worry about running out there and putting my stuff right in there, because I'm not going to run out there and try to be covering this and covering that and all that, because here the weather, it fluctuates. The spring, you may have a spring, you may not have a spring at all. So I don't want to go through all that stuff dying. I see people, they put it out there, it's all died. They got a frost, it's dead. I don't want to go through that. So I wait to the day, like they said, our last frost date is the end of April. I am not planting then, because we have never been able to plant then. I don't know where they got that date from, but that's a guideline. Normally here, the safest time, you can plant before this, but the safest time is Memorial Day weekend. That is when the people here, you can go to the plant stores, they packed. Everybody's in there buying up everything. If you don't get there to shop for your stuff, you're going to have the junk left or stuff sold out. So that's the safest time. So I don't rush. And like my, certain squash melons or whatever stuff, like I'm not even going to try to do There's a squash. There's some squashes that I will do inside. I'm gonna sow them inside. The reason I'm gonna do that is because they take a long time. They big squash. They take a long time, and I want to make sure that I have time to grow that squash and get me some fruit off of it. So those are the ones. So stuff like that I'll do inside, but other stuff I'm going out there and direct sow it. Now I got a whole bunch of stuff in here growing now, and some of my stuff is coming and growing, and some of my stuff is not. And I got to go through my seeds and start getting rid of some stuff too. I got some old seeds, and I need to get rid of them old seeds. It's hard for me to throw a seed away, but I need to throw some seeds away too, especially onions. I got some onion seeds, and it's a shame I bought onion seeds, and I didn't even open the onion. It didn't even plant that one that year. So that's one thing I got to stop doing, is buying a seed and then don't plant it that year, and then that seed don't keep that long. Onion don't keep that long. So then I planted the onions, and they didn't come up. So I know particularly some things is because the seed is old. So I do know that about some things. And then I bought seeds, and I bought these seeds from Hoss, Hoss Tools, and I seem to like their seeds. I know everybody like Baker Creek and everything. I bought them some. I did a video on planting those seeds from Baker Creek, but that's the ones that I got 5 coming up in. And I just bought them 2023. I done pre-planted them again, so I'm hoping they're going to come up. But the seeds I bought from Hoss, that whole thing came up. So I have been buying them. If you notice and you see me saying I'm planting this or I'm planting that, and you see me hold the seed pack up to show you what seed, you'll notice I buy seeds from them. And so far with them, I'm noticing they be germinating. They don't be any, I'm having good luck with it. So I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking anybody, because I'm saying it could just been a bad batch of seeds that I got there. But I'm very disappointed, because I was so looking forward to those particular onions, and only 5 of them came up. Maybe it is gardener error. I don't know. I usually don't have that problem. Let's see. Athea, Connecticut is tornadoes. Oh, tornadoes, tomatoes, and tobacco. Okay, that's where I'm from. Okay, tomato and tobacco. Okay, Elwanda, I winter sowed all my tomatoes and tomatoes and pepper plants, and they are all ready to go into their containers. But here in California, zone 9 is still having winter temperatures. Okay, because I was wondering where you was at when you said tomatoes. I'm thinking to myself, where is she at? Okay, California. Okay, well, good for you. You got your stuff ready. And Lynette, she says, Miss Cynthia, I try to grow onions from seed sets, and I never have any luck with them. What advice do you have? Okay, you grow them from seed sets, and what happens? I want to know what happens. You don't have any luck. Tell me what happens. And then from there, I can give you my advice. Okay, let's see. Chloe K. Okay, you had something there, but I don't see it now. Okay, yeah. I usually, this is going to be my first time not doing it. I usually get my onions, leeks, and shallots from Dixondale. And as everything is rising, prices and all that, I decided this time I wasn't going to do that. So I may be sorry, because I may miss that. I'm not saying anything bad happened with them or anything like that, but everybody's going up. And but when I was in my local garden center last time, I had already ordered from Dixondale way early. So by the time I went to my local garden center, I didn't even know they had the onion plants. So when I went in there and I did a video on it when I was in there, and I saw that they had that, and I said, "Ooh, look at these!" And they 5 something each for a bunch. And so I thought to myself, I'm gonna remember that. So this time, even though I'm growing onions in here, I'm also, when they open, they're not open for the season yet. But when they open, I'm going to go over there and see what things they have, and I'm going to buy from them and plant them. Because, they were 5 something last time. I'm going to see how much they are this time. But still, that's a real good price for a bunch. And I usually have pretty good luck with that. Let me see what else she says. My mom picked cotton in her younger years. She is passed on now. I would like to grow a small patch of cotton in her memory. I think that's wonderful. I think that's so, so wonderful. That touches my heart to hear that. My mother's gone. My grandmother's gone. Those are 2 big rocks in my life. And, they left a lot. They poured a lot into me. I'm a lot of what they put into me. And, a lot of times things, especially my grandmother with that garden, I think about her. She was from the South, but we grew up in Chicago, and she didn't have a garden there. She had a lot of house plants, but she would always take me to the market with her. And back in those days, it was nice. It is nothing like it is now. The neighborhood markets, everybody knew everybody. You walk up and down the street. It's Mr. So-and-so got a store over here. So-and-so got the meat market over there. And, you go over there and she would go in there. They knew her, and she would, wheel and deal with the people. And she always picked over the vegetable. And that kind of stuck with me, and her cooking those vegetables. And I think that has a lot to do with me gardening like I do. My love of gardening, my love of vegetables, stuff like that. So I think that's wonderful. That warms my heart. That's wonderful. A wonderful thing to do. Yes. You grow you a little cotton. Yes. Absolutely. I think that is great. So things like that. A garden means a lot of things. As a matter of fact, when you asked me about the watermelon, now you're making me think about my grandmother. Because I'm a great grandmother, y'all. My grandmother back in the day in Chicago, they used to have the horse-drawn wagons, and they were loaded up with watermelons. And they would go down the street, and there would be people, "Hey, watermelon man." They would sing. I can't sing, y'all, but they would make a little tune and let you know the watermelon truck is coming down the street. And my grandmother she called me Cindy. She was, "Cindy, go down there and get me a watermelon." She'd give me the money. "Go get me a watermelon and make sure he plug it." Well, they would take the watermelon. You pick out the one you wanted. So she felt like I picked the good one. They would cut the water, put a little plug in it, and you get to taste the watermelon to see if this is a good watermelon or not. And if it's a good watermelon, then you go ahead and you pay for the watermelon. You get it. And now that you're making me think of so many wonderful memories that I have talking about that cotton and your mom. That's wonderful. It's a lot of things. And when I grow watermelons, maybe not consciously in my mind that I'm doing it in my garden, but it's always a memory of my grandmother, the watermelon. I think that's why I be doing that watermelon decor on my other channel, and why I love every year I'm going to be growing some watermelon in my garden. Every year. That's something's got to be in there. Let's see. Okay, Chloe. Let's see, make sure I didn't pick. Okay, I got that one. I just got my order from Dixondale yesterday. All of them are hybrids. So I'm also going to try to grow some non F1 onions so I can start harvesting seeds. Oh, okay, good for you. Good for you. Yeah, they have good product. Nothing wrong with their product. I'm just trying to cut back on my spending. I'm starting to look at things that I've been doing and saying, okay, what can you cut? You know, our utility company, they've doubled us, doubled up on us. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff that's going up. Things are more expensive. And so I'm just looking at the writing on the wall and saying, you got to make some changes. So that's what I'm doing. Because I'm retired, y'all. I'm retired. Okay, now here go Lynette. She says, the set never develops a bulb larger than a quarter. They will develop green tops, but that's it. When I use seed, I get stingy sprigs that never develop into anything. Okay. I hear a lot of people complain about the sets. Now, what I hear about the sets, I've never used them, but I hear that I think they second year old or first year old or something. And then when you plant it, it has a tendency to want to go straight to seed because of the age of it, that it wants to go straight to seed. So I guess everything got to be ideal for that, or otherwise it don't work. So a lot of people have a problem with sets. Some people have success with them. So its tendency is it's going to go to seed right away. And it's not going to do the bulb, the big bulb for you. Most people say the same thing. It either go to seeds or don't do the big bulb. What I would recommend is the plants. Like what you get at Dixondale Farm, they send you an onion plant. That's not a set. That's a little plant. You take that little plant and you plant it. You don't have to get it from Dixondale. Like I said, my local garden center had them there for $5 something a bunch. I saw last year, which I'm gonna go back this year and make sure I get in there early enough to get me some. And you do those. Those are going to do much better for you. Make sure that you put them in a bed, whether it's in the ground or a bed or a bag or wherever you put them. You make sure that is nutritionally rich soil. Put you some good soil in there with some organic material in there. You know, like right now we can still get peat moss. I usually put in cow manure, peat moss, bone meal. I like to put in, if I put in, the more peat moss I put in, I'll put a little lime because peat moss will continue to be acidic. So make sure that is really expensive bags of fertilizer or whatever. I don't do that, but whatever you got to do, make sure it's rich because the onions want to be fed in order to do what they need to do. And that's what I do with my leeks. And if you look at videos that I've done, my leek thing, people come on, I've never seen a leek that big. Put it in some good soil, give it what it needs, and keep it watered. Take care of it in a good sunny spot. And you should have good success. You should have good success. But I stay away from the sets. But I see people that do make it with the sets. But it depends on, every garden is different. Your soil's different. Your gardens are different. The gardener is different. So I think with the plants, you can't lose. You get the little plant, little onion plant, almost look like a little green onion with the top cut off of it. It's a little short thing, and they have a little root thing on the bottom, and plant it in good soil, like I told you. And you should have good luck. You should have nice bulbs. And when they start bulbing up, what I did to mine, I looked and they were starting to bulb up. So then I just kind of would go through there with my finger and kind of pull the dirt back off of it some so that it can get a chance to bulb. And then I see some people clip off the top of the onion, you know, and they say when it falls over, you know, the onion, it'll start falling over when it's ready. I didn't clip off the top on mine, but I didn't have that many last time. I mostly, tell you the truth, I mostly would grow leeks instead of onions, only because I just love the taste of leeks. And I had a whole bunch of leeks last time and a year before that. And I got them from Dixondale and they just take off. And I got them in the freezer. I got them dehydrated. I ate them fresh. So I just like the taste of them. And I wanted some onion, but I wanted mostly leeks because anywhere that I'm going to use an onion, I'll use a leek. So I hope that's helpful to you. Let's see, Cynthia, if you haven't, it's moving. Okay, I read that one. Best Bible fact. Miss Cynthia, if you haven't already, please share your first experience as a gardener. Thank you. I love that question. My first experience, we really want to know my very first experience. My first experience was in elementary school. We grew a bean. That's why this stuff is so important with children. I never will forget. We had a little milk carton. You cut the top off the milk carton. The teacher gave you the little dirt. You put the little dirt in there and you plant your little bean. We put our little cartons with our name on there and put them in the windowsill and your little bean come up and, oh my God, look at my little bean. I was so happy. I ran home and showed everybody, look, I grew a bean. I was so happy. That was my first very experience, really, as a gardener. I think that never left me. Yep. Thea, yes. They yelled. Yeah. She's talking about the watermelon. Oh my God. You can hear them from down the street. Yes. Yes. I'm so glad you remember that. Yes. Absolutely. And they would have the biggest, juiciest, best watermelons you ever want to get. And you go in and you pay a little bit of nothing for it. And they would be yelling, kind of like when the ice cream truck go down the street and play the ice cream music, but a watermelon man would be out there singing his little tune. Yes. That's wonderful. Let's see. Yes. If you buy seeds, how do you know if I know I have a bad seed? It doesn't germinate. You plant the seed, you do everything right as far as the medium that you put it in. You keep it watered, don't let it dry out, and you get no germination. And you try it again, and if the second time works or the second time doesn't work, you might have a bad batch of seeds, or that might have just been a bad seed. But that's how you can tell if it doesn't germinate. So that's how you will know. And I know I've got a bad batch of seeds with these onion seeds because they're not doing anything. Some of them, I planted a whole different kind. Now, some of them did very well, but one of the main ones I wanted isn't. So I replanted it, and I'm just going to see what happens. And I may even order some more of them simply because I really want to try that onion. And nobody else had that particular one. But if it's bad, if I order it again and it's bad, I'm just going to kind of lay low on that company that I got it from, because that means I can't trust you. So even though you have a variety that nobody else has, it didn't germinate. And if I buy a second set and that have the same problem, then I'm going to lay low on you. And I'm going to stay with the companies that the stuff is doing well. That's what I do. I let my feet do the talking. Yeah, that was so good. Althea, that was so good. Oh my God, I love that. Lynette, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Cynthia. Okay, wonderful. You're welcome. Chloe, I like sets for interplanting with other types of vegetables. When I do this, I'm not looking for big bulbs from the sets. Okay, sets will work perfect for that. Perfect for that. Because you can be guaranteed it's going to do what you want it to do. So that's good. That's a good example of showing of using a vegetable in a way that you're going to have success and thinking about it ahead of time. I like that. Best Bible facts. I love it. Oh boy, that made me laugh. I needed a good laugh, but boy, that brought back some memories. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But so do we have any other questions? Anybody want to ask me anything? Because I don't know how long we've been on here, but I think it's been a minute. But I have enjoyed it so much. And let's see. Elwanda, pour your seeds in a cup of water. Let them float for a few minutes. The ones that falls to the bottom are good, and the ones that float at the top are no good. Okay. For whoever asked me about the seed, you in. She gave you the answer right there. Put them in a cup of water, see if they float or sink. And then you'll know from there. So look on there and see what she's saying and do that. Okay. Thank you for that one. Chloe, I love your tutorials for planting onion seeds. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I said this year I want a lot of onions. So that's why I say I'm going to plant the seeds. I'm also going to go to the garden center as soon as it opens up, because it's not a big box store. It's a little family owned place. I'm going to go there and I'm going to buy the little plants. And I'm going to do like you, Chloe. That's funny that you said that this time about how you plant with the sets, because that's something I'm going to be doing this time. I'm going to, not with the sets, I'm going to have the plants. But one of the things that I planned on doing is I'm going to take an area and I'm going to interplant it with different things that I've already decided that are going to go in there, and they're going to be different things that can grow together. And then I'm going to harvest certain things and other things going to still be in there. And that's how I'm going to do it. And so that's something that I have done it before. I always do companion planting, but this here is going to be a whole lot of the same stuff, a whole lot of one thing, a whole lot of another thing, and a whole lot of another thing. And they all going to come up in there. And I'm going to be picking and loving that. So this is going to be my first time doing that on that scale, but I'm planning on doing that. So I see you do that already. Okay, wonderful. Elwanda, that's with any seed. She's saying, is that with any seed? Yeah, I believe so. I've heard of it, but I couldn't think of it at the moment. I should do that with my onion seeds, but maybe I will do it with them. but they so little. Okay, UN said thank you. That's good. That's a good idea. I'm glad you threw that in there. That's what I like. Y'all throw your stuff in there. You know, I know some things, but I don't know everything. I'm not on here trying to be like I know it all. I just been gardening for a long time. I know some things. And if other people out there and you got the answer to it, hey, jump in there with it. It's not gonna bother me one bit. Yeah. But okay, guys. Well, we done been on here a long time. And if there's no other questions that you have, I hope that you guys have gotten something. Let's see, Elwanda, you're welcome. Oh, she's talking to, okay, good, at UN. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That's great. So, I hope you got something from this live. If you came in late, maybe you want to go back and catch the beginning where I was talking about the book and the different things in there and catch up on that if you want to. I thought it was some valuable stuff in there. Okay, they're talking to one another. So I just encourage you the library is a good place to get a look at something and decide whether or not you want to buy it because our money is precious, And so for me, I got that book. You better believe I'm buying it. So, because I was so tempted, I felt like I just wanted to. I like to write in my books. I wanted to underline stuff. I wanted to write along the margin. I wanted to, but it wasn't my book. I couldn't do that. So, yes, I'm buying the book. Okay, that's a wonderful book, and I can't imagine anybody that won't like that book. It has everything. If you're interested in amendments, if you're interested in amendments, if you're interested in nutrition, if you're interested in making up concoctions to pour on your stuff on your property, on your land that you can use for free, that's what it's good for. So far that I picked up out of it. And recipes, step by step. So, yes, I love it. So let's see, Athea, wonderful live. Good night, Cynthia and everyone. Chloe, after I get these onion sets up, we'll be watching your sweet potato tutorials. And Cynthia, okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. This has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I hope you got something from it. And I hope that it was enjoyable, educational, and that you got to maybe meet somebody that you didn't know and check out other people's channel, see what they're doing. If it's somebody that you want to subscribe to, ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. Good night, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.